Well, welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. Just waiting for the teams to come out for this minor semi-final of the match this afternoon between the Brisbane Broncos and Manly Warringah. As we said, there's been rain here all morning. It eased off for a while, then it started back for the last hour or so, but it's now stopped momentarily. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm sure Tony Durkin down on the touchline will hoping it's for a while, because it is quite cool down there also. Fair crowd out here, David. I think for this match today, I was a little bit sceptical as to what sort of a crowd we get, but it's built up pretty well.
It has done, Bill. I think a lot of people have decided that this is their day out well in advance of knowing who is going to play. There's the Manly Sea Eagle, looking pretty mean, and I'm pretty sure Manly are going to come out just as mean. Confidence is a very important thing in this match. There's Gene Miles leading out the Brisbane Broncos. Whether their confidence is back up there, the big question mark is they suffered a rather humiliating defeat last week, certainly a discouraging one. Whether they can improve on that, I think they had a lot, not so much that they had a lot of bad luck, but certainly their opponents, Penrith, were very, very lucky. And let's see now whether they can compete with this well-drilled outfit from Manly Warringah.
So there's Michael O'Connor leading Manly out onto the field, coached, of course, by Graham Lowe, and he's done a great job with them this year, and they did look, as we've said on a couple of occasions now, quite impressive last week when they played out here on the Saturday.
I'm just looking down on the field. I can't see Paul Hoff out there. Oh, he's just coming out now onto the field.
He's not a fella that you could miss easily, Fordo. And there's Wally Lewis, and of course Wally will be taking up his position on the sideline to do co-commentary. Gerard Walters will play a very important part in this match. He did look to run out of the dummy half position a number of times early in the match. I doubt he'll use it as much. Also Mark Hone, great responsibility now on the forwards in the absence of Greg Dowling. And there's another man, the key player in Cliffy Lyons, G, who at times gets a little bit over-vigorous. That man there in the contest between Tuvey and also Langer. Bella will enjoy these conditions. He's a big, strong man who bullets his way up the middle. And rest assured, Tony Iro, the shock weapon coming off the wing into midfield. And there'll be plenty of work to be done. There's Alan Langer, who many have said have been slightly out of form. They'll need match winners today, Brisbane, and that's exactly what they've got out there. A number of match winners. They have to do that job, and that is win for the Brisbane Broncos.
That's our referee today, and Bill Harrigan, he blows the whistle. Yes, they'll be looking for big performances from those rep players today, the big-time players, to come out and show their colours here this afternoon.
Billy, 5 players, Curry, Bacco, Lewis, Dowling and Shearer, all internationals, not available for selection today. Most clubs would love to have 5 internationals in their side.
You betcha. So that just gives you an idea of what they got there.
Yeah, Bill, but they must forget about the players they haven't got. There's 13 fit players out there to do a job, and that means getting the ball across the try line. Forget about looking pretty everywhere else. This game is about scoring more points than the opposition.
Matthew Ridge takes it across field after the downtown kick over there by Gene Miles. We were wondering about that kicking role, and Miles on most occasions will be out a little bit too far for that.
Yes, it's a bit of a concern, Bill, and whether they'll continually drag Miles out of position to make the kicking remains to be seen.
I noticed during the training sessions, Bill, that Paul Hoff was used quite regularly during the last session at Gilbert Park.
Well, he can kick the ball all right with his Australian rules background. That's Hosking taking it up. Some doubt about him early in the week, but he's taking his place on the side. He'll be there till into the second half when Shelford will come on. They've been doing it for the last 8 weeks, and I don't think Graham Lowe's about to change that today. So it's the final tackle. Back to Lyons, juggled it a little bit, but Walters is up out there on top of him, and he's got to keep on doing that for another 78 minutes.
Great result. That was on the 6th tackle. Lyons, after juggling the ball, did the right thing and didn't panic. He decided, OK, this is not entirely bad news. Let's just have the changeover and get on with the football. So
now we see the Brisbane Broncos in possession with G taking it up. He's put down heavily. Roberts came in over the top. Going in underneath that time was Jones. Gavanella was hurt in that tackle. Walters up as dummy half, works it outside to Mark Hone. He comes up to Tuvey.
That looks like a crippling injury there to Gavin Allen. He can hardly walk, and it'll be an absolute amazement if he can come back and play on in this match.
Here's the kick for touch. Is going to find it. They'll get up there to about 20 metres, 18 metres out from the Manly line.
There's the replay. Gene Miles angling that kick in, and Brisbane are looking pretty good in that they've got the ball out of their territory. Manly on the back foot.
Gavin Allen coming back to rejoin the scrum, but he doesn't look too hot at the moment.
Well, it's not the place to be if you've got sore ribs either, if you've got to push in the scrum.
Waiting for Tuvey to feed this scrum. Down they go. In by Tuvey. He'll take it out, runs across the open side, but it'll be a penalty to Manly.
Inside the 5 metres at the base, and also breaking prematurely there by Terry Madison. Chance now for Manly to immediately get out of their own territory.
Matthew Ridge finds touch on the far side of the ground. While we're doing that, we'll take you down to Tony Durkin on the touchline for a rundown on conditions.
Well, Bill, I suppose it had to happen sooner or later. Conditions have been so good of late, but the rain, as you said, came down heavily this morning in Sydney. Even though it's not raining at the moment, it's still pretty ugly conditions here, really, and the players certainly won't enjoy it. Pretty slippery out there in the middle and also pretty boggy, but still good conditions weather-wise for football.
Well, Wayne Bennett was looking for discipline to be exerted here today. Well, there's 2 quick penalties in a row that have cost them rather dearly here.
It sure has, and Brisbane now on the defensive early in the match.
That's Jones taking it up about 18 metres out from the Broncos line. From the play the ball. Trying to find a way through over there this time was Roberts, but they keep it going. Tooby getting it away, the kick through. O'Connor, they're looking for runners. They're going for that corner, but it's back over the dead ball line, but plenty of Manly players coming out after it.
Well, they nearly collided with our camera there. William Tunisia gets up. Now, this is the camera that nearly gets hit by players as they fly through. Have a look at it. Michael Hancock decides to pull out just in time. Iro sliding through also underneath along with Darryl Williams. O'Connor put the kick in there. I thought prematurely. Seemed to me there was a potential overlap.
Not only did players go for that camera, but we had about 29 people standing in front of us too, which made it pretty hard to see. Well, it is when you're only about 4'0" like myself. Tony Durkin down on the touchline. Gavin Allen doesn't look too hot.
Well, he just took the ball up then, Billy, and was pretty heavily tackled, and he's come back and he's holding those ribs, and of course it can be a very dangerous injury if he has in fact broken a rib, because by playing on he can puncture a lung as well.
That's James Donnelly taking it up. Now, he's only played 1 A-grade game this year, and that was in that 14-12 win over Manly back at the Lane Park match, that controversial one some time back now. Kicker's going to find touch.
Brisbane managing to turn play around. The kick by Langer came off the side of the foot. Those 2 players collided there. Willie Kahn did not take out Ira with the ball. It was just a collision.
A lot of the crowd thought he did because they booed quite strongly. So Tooby to feed the scrum. So he'll get it across. Coming in from that wing over there will be Iro.
Bill, Broncos have 2 fresh reserves, Bob Conway and Peter Jackson. Jackson would not be out of place in the forward pack. I'd be putting him on there with his experience. Manly have made an error. Here it is again. Tooby ducks out of dummy half position. Bill Harrigan in bad position as a referee. Got in the road.
Tony Durkin.
Well, in fact, David Wright spot on. Peter Jackson and not Bob Conway is the Bronco player lining up in the warming up in the tunnel at the moment. So obviously if Gavin Allen does come off, it'll be Peter Jackson on and maybe Gene Miles back into the forwards.
That was big Paul Hoff taking it up there for the Broncos. They let it go out wide. Cutting back inside is Johns. He's going to be eventually... No, they were going to put him into the ground, but they decided to let him regain his feet. This is Langer trying to find a way through. Alan Langer, he gets up to the quarter line, but he's well smothered up.
Bill, just one thing. I would leave Miles in the centres and let Jackson have a bit of fun in the forwards. Get his work rate up.
So back it goes to Walters. That's Kevin Walters. Put down just inside the quarter line. He'll play it. G is the dummy half. They reverse it back to Miles. Miles put down about 20 metres out. It is the final tackle. Over to Alan Langer. Juggles a little bit. Look back inside, or dummy back inside, then eventually wrapped up on the final tackle.
Not good play from Brisbane there. The juggle by Langer really, just as we saw a little while ago, Lions couldn't get the kick away. That also stopped Alan Langer. He looked back on the inside. No support. Little grubber kick there would have been the order of the day. Roberts
getting up to play it. He's 18 metres out from his own line now. Medley, another one. Broncos too eager again.
Well, they're flooding toward Manly at the moment. 3-0 the penalties. And Brisbane, there it is, conceding penalties. Bill Harrigan being quite severe. And this is the easy way to make territory. Admittedly, Ridge doesn't make too much. But Manly still just that bit further away from their try line.
Martin Bella takes it up. Eventually put down a couple of metres short of the halfway mark. No points on the board as yet. Away from dummy half. Out it goes to Hosking via the hands of O'Donnell.
Gavin Allen battling on.
O'Donnell in his dummy half again. He'll feed it away this time to Michael O'Connor, taken pretty high by Langer. And also into the tackle there was that man we're talking about, Gavin Allen. So back over to Roberts. Can he get the pass away? He was thinking about it. That's the one thing that they've got to do, is chop him off from getting that pass away. There's a kick downfield by Lyons. Willie Kahn back there. Kahn decides to run it out. He gets up to the quarter line. Eventually going to be knocked over. Coming about to the tackle is Jones.
No doubt that Kevin Walters has got a contract on Cliff Lyons on that kick downfield. The second time he came at him very quickly to harass him. You've got to do that against Cliff Lyons.
Well, if you don't, he can have a picnic. And he did have a bit of trouble with Izzard last week, and I'm sure that he's trying to erase that from his mind and get stuck into it today. That's James Donnelly. Walters to Madison. Madison slipped out of the first tackle. Just lost the footing a little bit as he got away from Lyons. Final tackle. Back over to Langer. He's going to kick it this time. Kicks it across field, which means that Rich has to run a little bit this time. He starts to move. Walters and John's up there to put him down.
Good kick that from Langer. Whilst it didn't have a lot of power and it had good position, hooking it back on the left-hand side, made sure that Rich had to make ground to get there.
Lydiard works it across field. Back to Roberts. And Kerrod Wallace over the top to smother him up, and once again he wasn't able to get the pass away. So O'Donnell back to Bella. Bella loses it. Broncos ball. Gene Miles comes away with it. He's lost it now, but it'll be a penalty.
Touch John as well. Gene Miles is flat on his back. He'll need some assistance from his teammates to get out of that. Extracted by Andrew G. A touch John to make a report. And O'Donnell it is who's the offender. There's the ball knocked down by Bella, picked up by Gene Miles, and he is thumped heavily into the ground. David O'Donnell put him to ground, then the ball being lost using the forearm by O'Donnell, and the penalty had already been given, I think, for stealing the ball. The forearm was the report as well, and a chance for Terry Madison. One of the reasons he's been selected in the side, certainly not the only reason, the absence of Dale Shearer. Terry Madison, more than an accomplished kicker.
Just as a matter of interest, if you missed the score in the reserve grade in the minors semi-final, there's some strapping going on Gavin Allen's ribs. Minors semi-final, Brisbane Broncos defeating North Sydney by 14-2. So they'll play the loser of the Canberra and Penrith match tomorrow. Well, quite a few boos here for the Broncos, but I noticed the can man down here having a go at the Sea Eagle. That might have started a bit of something too. So back onto his mark is Jerry Madison. The booing is certainly for Madison, I can tell you. Here's the kick. Doesn't look as though it's got much height. It certainly hasn't got direction. It's going to be waved away. And Manly come up with possession a few metres out from their own line.
Penalties now 3-1. Brisbane do not want to give another one away now. All they want is 6 good defensive tackles here to keep the pressure on.
9.5 minutes into this first half, and no points on the board. Taking it up there was Lydiard. He'll play it forward. He'll get to the quarter line before he's wrapped up. Dummy half is O'Donnell.
Hancock struggling back into position.
Back on then to Hosking, who's done the job for his coach Graham Lowe this season in the last part of the season anyway. Back across over there to Toomey, trying to find a way around. Lost the ball and the tackle is going to be towed through by Lyons.
On the 6th again, Bill, for the 3rd time. A changeover in the match. Great chance for the Broncos.
Well, down on the touchline, Mick Hancock with a gash to the head takes his place back on the left wing. Brisbane in possession of the football, 25 metres out. It's back with Mark Hone, and he goes under the high tackle. Now Allen with those ribs strapped. Bravely playing on, not a pleasant injury in a semi-final. Walters for Madison, turning it back for G. He came to Jones and took the tackle. Now Brisbane line deep to the right, Miles running out wide. It goes to Walters. The receiver is Miles, trying to bust through the defence, but was taken by Lyons inside the quarter line. Walters with the switch of play to his brother Kerrod. He was taken out after the kick. Referee said play on.
Unbelievable, definitely taken out for mine. Kerrod Walters can't believe it. He got that kick away cleanly and was taken out afterwards. Let's have a look. Bang, that's a huge shoulder charge. Inexplicable. The referee looked at it and called all clear, but Brisbane still with pressure on. Goal line dropout.
0-0 the scoreline with 10.5 minutes of play gone. And the dropout from Williams will go back to Langer on halfway. He will give it to the big striding fullback Paul Hoff, and he settles play midway between the half and the quarter. Allen calling for it as the first receiver. He's cut out, it's given to Donnelly. Reveling in the big stuff down there at the moment, but he was taken out with a solid tackle from Roberts. It's Langer, away for Walters. It's a floating pass, it's a good ball for Johns, but Johns just can't shrug through the defence. He's taken 25 out from the Manly line. Out of dummy half goes Walters. Got it back in for Kevin Walters. He will score the first try. The Broncos are in the lead.
The terrific twins, Kerrod and Kevin, do the job. Once again, Kerrod dashes out of the dummy half position. There was nowhere to go. This guy could run up an alley with absolute no room. Finds the pass up to Kevin Walters, his brother. They know exactly where each other are going. This guy's going to put his stamp on the match. Kevin Walters back in business. Here's Wally.
Yes, I was just going to say before, David, I noticed Jeff Tooby, the halfback, playing straight in behind the line. That's where exactly where they took that the point of the ruck there. That's why Kerrod Walters, not normally noted as a ball player, but able to get over the top of the low tackling Jeff Tooby to the ever-present Kevin Walters. And I'm sure that this is a bit of a payback for Kevin, who felt a little bit bad for last week, and I'm sure we're going to see a great performance from him today.
Kevin Walters back to form after that horror match last week. Certainly a big contender for the Dally M Awards for 1990, and they're announced at the Entertainment Centre on Tuesday night. But he's put his stamp on this match in the 13th minute of the first half. Manly regrouping in the in-goal, and talking to the former Balmain coach Billy Anderson before the game, he said, Fordo, rest assured if Kerrod Walters can dominate from outside, running from the dummy half situation, he can cause Manly some big headaches this afternoon, and he's done just that by putting his side in the lead by 4 points to 0. Terry Madison with the ball placed, 8 in from touch. That's the way the touch judges see it. It's hit the upright, no goal, but the Broncos lead by 4 points to 0. Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, Donnelly works it up midway between the half and the quarter at the Broncos' end of the ground. They lead by 4 to 0. That's home. Miles out of dummy half of the kick. Downfield for Ridge. Not a good kick from Gene Miles. And really these conditions for Matthew Ridge being a Kiwi, he'd be right at home out there, David.
Yes, he'd feel very good with the heavy conditions. Not a good kick, as you said, Porto caught on the full, but a good chase. It still did have. That helped the Brisbane side because they had a good chase. At the moment, they're playing pretty well, Brisbane. They've almost been error-free. There's only been one missed tackle and no drop balls by Brisbane. Manly have missed 5. Here's Manly.
Yes, and a big run by Iro. He got it away for Lions, and look at that tackle of Walters. I think he's been sitting on the problems he had last week, David. I wondered whether the kid could come back, but he certainly started the game very cautiously.
Sure has. The secret photo. Let's have a look at it, the build-up. Tooby fires it outside. Iro can't have trouble with him. Look at Lyons there. The incentive to get there and back up. The secret here, hit with your shoulder. Do not tackle with your arms. Hit with the shoulder and drive, and he's doing it.
So the Broncos lead by 4, and growing in confidence as Miles hits it up, but that's great defence by Manly Warringah. Ian Roberts was the defender. Now it goes for Andrew G. Struggled to hold on to the football, but did very well indeed. He takes play inside the attacking half. Blindside is the injured Gavin Allen. 9 metres inside Manly's end of the ground. Kerrod Walters working blindside with Madison. He got a good ball for Johns. Couldn't get the arms free to give the ball to Hancock, and he's turned over possession of the football.
Desperately tried to get the ends free, and he needed to try everything possibly because Hancock was free. That was a try for Brisbane, but they are finding gaps. Madison to Johns. Here's Peter Jackson on the touchline. Let's go to Tony Durkin as we see another penalty for offside. Bill Harrigan not consistent because Manly have also been offside. Let's see from Tony Durkin who the replacement's going to be for.
As we suspected, David, the replacement, Peter Jackson in jersey number 27, is for Gavin Allen. He just can't suffer that pain any longer.
Well, Gavin Allen leaving the field. Jackson is on, and Manly are inside the attacking half with Iro. Oh, and a big solid hit out there. Coming in from Donnelly.
Jacko's in the centres.
So Miles goes into the pack as Jones hits it up for Manly. 13 metres inside Brisbane's end of the ground. The Broncos lead the semi-final by 4 to 0. The good kick by Lyons will roll end on end into the in-goal. Hoff under pressure, but he did brilliantly well to bring it out. 10 metres out from his own goal line.
You can look back on a match and think of a few things that happen that can turn a game, and that there by Paul Hoff was significant.
Now Jackson, first touch of the football, tackled on the quarter line by O'Donnell. Now Hone turning it back. Jackson. 22 and a half minutes remain in the first half as Miles with the big kick downfield. This time Ridge allows for it to bounce. The line is up. It's not the one line though, but it's a good bit of defence by Hancock, and the pressure again was from Kevin Walters.
Yes, he's really determined, Kevin Walters. I had an interview with him recorded yesterday, and he did not seem to be too keen. But I tell you what, these fellows aren't paid to talk, they're paid to play. And Kevin Walters is ready. Have a look at this once again. Well and truly in the field of play, but determination slides him in a touch.
And Wally, the significance there, the error on the second tackle.
Yes, I'm sure that's something that Graham Lowe won't forget at half-time, David. Manly, in their last couple of weeks, have conceded only 2 errors in the first half. The following week, they conceded none and had 2 errors for the whole match. So something in this match that's already very prevalent is Manly's error rate, which has surpassed their previous 2 games already.
Well, the tackle count has resumed for Brisbane. The pass goes out for Willie Kahn, and he's wrapped up by Williams in the tackle. 3.5, 4 metres out from the line. It goes through Alan Langer's hands. He threw the dummy, and Langer nearly threw the gap.
Someone off his shoulder, they're in.
Quick play the ball is required. It'll go across for Miles, the one-handed pass, and the defence is up by Lyons. The numbers are to the right, but they move it left. Kevin Walters with a little kick. Peter Jackson, try! Try to the Brisbane, no offside.
What? He's got him for offside. Peter Jackson has not said a word, thank goodness, because Brisbane have learned from last week. How could Jackson have been offside? I can't believe it. Kevin Walters puts the kick through. Well, from that angle, it's not absolutely clear, but I tell you what, there would have only been a millimetre in it, if at all possible. There's only one person at the ground that thought Jackson was offside.
And
got the white jersey and the whistle.
I was going to say it wasn't me, and Wally Lewis on the touchline. I know it wasn't you.
No, you can say that again. That penalty's, well, astounded everybody at the ground here. We've got a couple hundred Manly people directly behind us here, David, and not one of those people thought he was offside either.
Well, Manly run it out from their own quarter line, and there's some great determination in this Brisbane defence. Andrew G comes at Jones. The Broncos lead by 4-0. We're approaching the halfway mark of the first half. The sun shining at the Sydney Football Stadium for the first time today, but it certainly didn't shine on Brisbane on that occasion, Billy.
No, David, it certainly didn't. And I just hope that the Broncos team get that out of their mind, because that was another try that they had on the board. They could have had a nice lead here, but they do get a penalty out of this one, which softens the blow a little bit, but not enough for my money.
No, it's a lot of difference, Bill. The same penalty inside the 5, but or in front of the kicker, I should say. Peter Jackson acknowledging to his teammates that he's just going to cool it, making sure everyone is back on side before he kicks the ball. But boy, that was a great chance for Brisbane.
Tony Durkin down on the touchline. Gavin Allen left the field. He was in quite a deal of pain. I noticed the last time he took it up, he took quite a while to get back onto his feet. What's the story?
Well, the confirmation from the Brisbane dressing room, Bill, is that they are damaged ribs. To what extent, the doctor's not quite sure.
They keep it alive, the Broncos. Cutting up the centre this time as Johns. Johns gets up over, to the quarter line before he's pulled down. He'll get up to play it. Walters is the dummy half. They keep the ball rolling again. This is Madison. He's trying to find a gap. He's working across field. He's still going. He gets a pass outside, but Jackson is going to be pulled down over there. Still keeping up the pressure, though, and it's going to be a penalty.
And should be sin bin, and he's got it for 5 minutes in the sin bin. Roberts it was. The referees normally decide if a player does exactly that, give away a professional foul when a try was definitely on. It warrants 5 in the bin. The penalty's now still favouring Manly by 5-3, but Brisbane doing what we know they do best, and that is playing attacking football, keeping the ball alive. There were a number of people, myself included, who thought perhaps this man wouldn't have the same sort of effect in the match right from the start. He's come on as a substitute in recent weeks and has really shown some good form and found gaps. He's done exactly the same in the heat of battle in the first half.
David, talking about the Broncos playing their attacking football, they tended to get away from that last week and take Penrith on in the forwards, which is not their natural game.
Exactly, Bill. And to play attacking football, a couple of things. You've got to be able to stand and tackle for one, and Brisbane are doing that, but you've got to have backup. And that's the pleasing thing about the Brisbane play now. They've got players chasing the man with the ball. And when that happens, they're in business.
Well, a very positive start here after some 22 minutes of play. Terry Madison with a chance to get another 2 points on the board. Referee Bill Harrigan just near him with his hand up to keep that sun out of his eyes. There's a kick by Madison. It is there, and the Broncos have a lead of 6 points to 0. So it's the Broncos' lead of 6 points to 0. They're in possession down on their own quarter. I don't want to hark back to that Peter Jackson try, David, but during the commercial break we just did see a replay, and he was, what, about a metre onside?
A good metre onside, Bill. That was a fair try that's been robbed from the Broncos. Too late now. Let's get on with the football.
This is Andrew G taking it up, put down 10 metres short of the halfway mark. Hosking coming in over the top. They keep the ball rolling again as Madison gets it outside to Jackson. Jackson tackled by Tuvey just inside the halfway.
Bill, possessions have been very important on the fifth tackle here for Brisbane, but Brisbane, for mine, have had the majority of ball. There it is, 53-41, and Brisbane are a good attacking unit, as we've said. Manly will be dangerous in possession themselves.
Michael O'Connor working his way around, but eventually going to be scooped up over there by Chris Johns, who followed him one way, missed him, and then chased him back the other. Now another penalty coming up to Manly.
Well, that's been a number for offside. There's been at least 4 to 5, 4 for offside by Brisbane. Bill Harrigan being very, very severe on the Broncos.
So the kick for touch over there by Matthew Ridge. It'll find touch 25 metres out from the Broncos line, and Manly will take the tap from there. So it's O'Donnell, comes onto the mark, back to Hosking. 2 balls on the field. Hosking brings it up just inside the quarter. So Manly take it up again. O'Donnell away from dummy half. He's going to be wrapped up. There's a chance for them now.
Donnelly having a strong game.
Back it comes over there this time. To take it up there will be Jones. Jones put down about 5 metres out. Have a look at them. Back it goes to Tuvey, then across to Cliffy Lyons. Back inside. It's going to be lost this time by Lydiard. Or rather, it was lost by Williams. And the Broncos end up with possession. Well, Manly were looking all right then.
Yeah, but making mistakes, and Brisbane applying a lot of that pressure. You saw Iro come there as the dummy runner, and then the backline movement. Brisbane kept their defensive line intact and did well.
Walters getting it away to Johns. Johns straight ahead. Walters backs up nicely. He's found the gap again. He's working his way up to the halfway mark. There's Alan Langer coming up in support, and he's eventually put down 5 metres inside Manly territory. A quick play, the ball does the trick, and away it goes to Jackson. Jackson working across field, back inside to Madison. Wrapped up though in the tackle.
Well run, read there by Cliff Lyons.
From the play the ball, Madison, or rather Miles across field. Now he puts it up very high. Ridge is back there to take it for Manly. And he's going to be tackled though. Going at him is Walters. Gerard Walters it is, right in underneath, and he'll play it about 8 metres out from his own line. Away from dummy half is Lydiard.
4-1 there. Manly have really spilt far too much ball for this stage of the match.
A little bit of activity down on the touchline. Tony Durkin.
Well, I doubt very much whether Graham Lowe, the experienced coach he is, Billy, would panic. But I can tell you what, Adrian Shelford is warming up in the tunnel already for the Sea Eagles, and that's much, much earlier than most would be expected. Yeah,
well, whether he takes Hosking's place, of course, is another thing, but we'll wait and see on that one. So the final tackle now. Cliff Lyons kicking downfield. Going back is Michael Hancock, but he'll let Hoff take it. So the big fullback strides out. Gets out of the first tackle, that of O'Connor. Doesn't get away from Lydiard, but he stays in touch. That's the main thing. Hancock wrapped up at the dummy half posse on that occasion. Lydiard the man to do it. Hoff back over there this time to Jackson. He in turn swings it away to Walters. Out then to Johns. Johns straight ahead, put down 10 metres short of the halfway mark.
There's Ian Roberts ready to come back on after his 5-minute stint in the sin bin.
So the Broncos keeping it going again. Out it goes to Walters. He unloads it. Oh, gee, they picked it up nicely there in Chris Johns. He'll be put down 1 metre or so inside Manly territory.
Nothing like a bit of razzle-dazzle to unsettle the defence. Lord Lyons nearly an intercept.
He tried to knock it down, which he succeeded in doing.
Oh, he's got Brisbane for the knock-on and not Cliff Lyons, though. Let's have a look. Alan Langer spun out of that dummy half position. Well, for mine, Lyons knocked that forward, even though it came a second time off Miles. There's the missed tackles. Manly are in trouble. 10-3 in the missed tackles. Hosking is gone.
Hosking off, and it is Shelford coming on to take his place. So Tuvey to feed the scrum, just inside the Manly half of the field. The little halfback works across field. He's slapped away from Madison's tackle. Can't get away from the next one, though. Coming across is G. Yes, G. Now this is Shelford. Shelford knocked over. The Balmain players last week, David said he was one of the toughest players to knock down.
Very strong player, and I don't think Graham Lowe has panicked here, but he has reacted. I think he needed to do something, and this is the time to do it.
I noticed on that occasion when Roberts took it up, bang, straight into him over the top was Mark Hone, who once again shut off that ball.
Set piece here, Manly.
Lyons kicking across field and bounced off a Broncos player. Comes eventually to Hoff. Hoff working across field. He can't get away from the tackle coming in this time from O'Donnell. Back it goes this time. But the Manly defence coming up. Lyons leading the way. 12 minutes remaining in this, the first half, and the Broncos with a lead of 6 points to nil. Walters got away from the first tackle, that of Lyons, but it's going to be wrapped up eventually. Now back to Donnelly.
Good wrap.
Donnelly taking it up very strongly again. He's relished the opportunity. Only one A-grade match this year, but he's picked a big one to come back into the lineup.
And he's in trouble too, Bill. I think he's down holding that ankle.
Away from dummy half, Walters, a little kick through, bounces off the Manly players. Scooped up by G.
But he's called it a knock-on there. And Brisbane, whilst they've dominated, here's a changeover. Whilst Brisbane have dominated, they still only lead by 6 points to nil with 29 minutes of the match gone.
So this is Shelford. Shelford held up 12 metres inside Bronco territory. Lydiard receiving attention in the back play. Oh, there's a cruncher coming in. Who was let off that time by Donnelly.
He's hurt himself, though, in the tackle, Bill.
It was a tough restart.
Well, he's slowly back onto his feet. But from the play, the ball, O'Donnell gets it on then to Shelford. Shelford will bring it up to just inside the quarter line. Watch the Manly machine take it from here. O'Donnell with it. He gets it away to Tooby. The crowd starting to rise up for it now. This is Lyons. Lyons turns it back inside. That's Iro. Iro to Tooby. Tooby up the centre. Tooby going to be put down 10 metres out. It is the final tackle. So let's watch it from here.
Jesus, this is a very, very severe penalty.
He's given time too, has he?
Yeah, I think Michael Hancock's got 5 minutes, Bill.
Have a look at it. Up on the inside, Tooby tackled. Brisbane in a bit of trouble, but the fifth tackle. Does Michael Hancock spend much time? Not, well, let's say the referees decided it was enough. Penalties favouring Manly by 7-3. Great chance now for Manly to get the score back.
Alan
They trail. Sorry, Bill, they just trail 6-0 at the moment.
Alan Langer being spoken to here by referee Harrigan after the touch judge came in. So now we'll see what Matthew Ridge can do with this shot at goal. Shouldn't be able to miss this one. And that narrows that lead just a little bit.
Significantly, Bill, as I was saying, Brisbane really have dominated the match, but just to have that 6-point lead, and as you say, this should be no trouble for Matthew Ridge. So Manly, whilst they haven't been in the match, are still in on the scoreboard.
So Ridge is back onto his mark, wipes a little bit of dirt off the front of his boot. And starts to move in. There's the kick, and no doubt about it. So the Brisbane Broncos lead Manly Warringah now by 6 points to 2.
Back at the Sydney Football Stadium in time for the kick-off. We're into the final 10 minutes, and Brisbane will do 5 of those without Michael Hancock, who's in the sin bin. But Manly have clawed their way back to trail by just 4. And I would be very interested to see, it might sound like a biased comment, this one, but referee Eddie Ward has been under a lot of pressure in recent weeks on a couple of decisions. I will be interested to see the Sydney press on referee Bill Harrigan's disallowing of the Peter Jackson try.
Definitely should have been awarded, but this match will be decided by the team in possession. Both sides looking dangerous with the football.
Possessions favouring Broncos 73-60. They favour them on the scoreboard too, 6 points to 2. And we've got 8 minutes of play remaining till half-time. O'Donnell getting it away for Iro. This is where he's going to be dangerous. The defence read it pretty well on that occasion. He moved off the mark, was allowed to play the football. Wally Lewis on the sideline.
David, the rule clearly reads if you hit the ground and the referee calls held, you're allowed to step half a pace forward in playing the ball. That is deemed the ruck. If you step sideways, backwards or any other direction, it should be a penalty. That clearly seems to be a definite disadvantage to the Broncos. We haven't enjoyed much luck from the referee this afternoon, that's for sure.
Now Miles inside the quarter line for Alan Langer, darted away to the right, but he was well taken in the tackle. Now Hone hits it up hard for the Broncos, but this Manly defence has been excellent.
Especially their markers, they tackle very well out of the marker position.
Now it goes away for Jackson. Tried to shrug off Jones, couldn't do it. A bad pass so close to the quarter line, and the captain Miles was forced to tidy it up. But 6 to go. It comes to Willie Kahn from the right wing, and he's very easily put to the ground by O'Donnell.
A couple of wide rucks of the order today for Brisbane to get away from those markers.
Donnelly, 32 out from his own goal line, centre field. Walters looking for the runner. He's found Andrew G. He came to Bella and Tuvey, and Bella just stood his ground in defence. Now, good little ball back in from Madison to Walters to Langer. Over halfway goes Langer. Support is there, but Hoff left it behind him. And he's tackled on the halfway line. Here's the final tackle. Madison with the kick downfield. It goes over the head of Matthew Ridge. It'll roll into the in goal, but it will go dead in goal. So play will come back to the quarter line for the restart with 6.5 minutes remaining on the clock here at the stadium.
Bad luck there for Madison. Alan Langer looking back to the bench there a couple of occasions. He was slow to his feet.
Now Bella rucks it up, but met in some solid defence. Tuvey. O'Donnell out of dummy half. Tuvey very slow. Roberts spent a 5-minute stint at the bin. Back on the field for the Sea Eagles. Shelford is the receiver. Runs the ball up strongly, but miles over the top. Just a couple of metres short of halfway are the Sea Eagles. It will go back for the kick downfield from Ridge. It'll bounce inside the quarter line for Paul Hoff. Now, what can he do? Got away from Williams. But the defence moved up very, very quickly in the form of Cunningham. Kevin Walters away for G.
Got to be offside there in the marker position.
Hancock back on the field. That's been touched and 6 more to go. Now I wonder whether the Broncos realise, and now I think they do. Home trying to ruck it up hard and take it beyond the quarter line, and he's successfully done that. Will we see Walters dart out of dummy half? No, we'll find another receiver in Donnelly. 25 out from their own goal line, the Broncos, into the final 5 of the first half. Langer away for Big Gene Miles. A one-handed pass. Kevin Walters taken in the tackle.
That's where the opportunities are, though, just those 2 passes off the ruck with a straight runner.
Now Kerrod Walters, 12 short of halfway on the final tackle. Madison appears to be the man that's going to be kicking in general play. It's off the side of the boot. Not a good one. It's a problem in the Brisbane game.
Very bad result that. Madison got a heavy knock a little while ago. This is a significant turning point in the match.
With it being the final tackle, immediate turnover, and Manly back on the attack. O'Donnell, Lyons, they're looking dangerous. It goes to O'Connor. That magnificent step of O'Connor. But over the top came Jackson. Lyons, away from Iro. Gee, he's dangerous in this part of the ground. He got it to Tuvey. He left it behind. It goes to O'Donnell. 12 out from the goal line. It's Jones. Already this year, Jones has scored 5 tries, set sail for the line, but was brought down. It'll go to Lyons. There's the kick. It's been knocked on by Andrew G. And that's where we'll see the scrum packed down with loose head and feed to the Manly Warringah side.
Brisbane suffered from exactly this last week, and that is putting the hand out and blocking either a kick through or a pass. Another 6 tackles this should be to Manly.
And a very dangerous position in the field. A set move is on with Iro. Tuvey gave it to Iro, but it was beautifully read.
Madison stood out of the scrum.
And he's been penalised.
Well, so he should be. He was out of the scrum, but I think he's going for inside the 5 metres differential penalty. He could have got him for a full penalty because Madison just left the scrum.
Now Manly attack again. O'Connor runs wide, leaking up, but good defence again. Chris Johns read it well. It goes to Lydiard, and John shows his strength as Hancock came at him and tries to steal the football. Now Manly are lined deep. They're not lined wide though. It goes to Roberts. He tries to burrow his way through that defence. Stood in the tackle and was sent back. Now they're getting wider. They're deeper. It'll go to Cunningham. And great defence by Hone. Now, Iro is set in the second line of attack. It goes to Tuvey, to Bella, to Shelford. The Kiwi stood in the tackle. He's put to the ground finally. It's the final tackle. They move it with Lyons. hoisting it high in the air. It is not a good kick. It's knocked on by Manly. That's a Brisbane ball.
Great defence there by Brisbane. They held out nicely against some strong Manly attack. Their defence was up to the task.
Gene Miles rucks it up towards the quarter line. On the touchline is Tony Durkin.
Well, Terry Madison has taken a couple of pretty heavy hits in the last few minutes, David, including when he tackled Tony Iro. Bob Conway has come down to the sideline, and it appears as though Madison may be going to the head bin.
Well, Bobby Conway was injured at training yesterday, an injured right ankle. Here's a good ball back inside the two. Walters brothers combine again. Now Gene Miles takes it to halfway. But
Tuvey.
Fabulous tackle. And he's paid the penalty. Tuvey hasn't moved. Now Johns goes away. But he's taken midway between the half and the quarter. It's at Manly's end of the ground. Tuvey still hasn't moved from that tackle. Now the kick. Back for Lyons and also for O'Connor. But Lyons the man that takes it. Turns it back for O'Connor. He got away from Mark Hone. He got away from Langer. But Chris Johns, whose defence has been outstanding, it was Khan, in fact, that wrapped him up.
Tuvey there in quite a bit of trouble. He looks like he could have been knocked out.
Here's a chance for Manly.
It was a very negative kick by Peter Jackson a while ago. With only a minute up to half-time, you don't just put it back in there and give the ball back to Manly.
Into the final minute. Iro with the pass over the top. O'Connor. Can the defence get there? He came back inside Hone. Got it back for Lyons. Back for Iro. And a forward pass. It didn't look forward from here.
No, I don't think Bill Harrigan is having a good game by any means. Let's have another look at it. Michael O'Connor steps back on the inside, but at least Hone was going wide. Pass looked okay there. Bill Harrigan has pulled it up. There's Tuvey still getting attention after he attempted to tackle the rampaging Gene Miles.
I'm surprised he hasn't stopped the game, actually.
He should do, Fordo, I think, because he's in quite a bit of trouble. But he's not.
Cliff Lyons appeal to him. And particularly when a player is concussed like that. Desi Hasler, the fresh reserve.
Only 10 seconds to half-time. Kick and chase.
And a penalty.
Differential.
It's against O'Connor. The siren about to sound here at the stadium. The Broncos will take a lead into half-time of 6 points to 2. And Jackson will look for touch for Brisbane on the commentary side.
Jackson wants a bit of protection from his players just in case he doesn't fail to find touch. There should be no suggestion of that. He must find touch. Great chance for Brisbane for a last chance for points. And I'd like to see them run it. The obvious thing is the kick.
Now, I think it may be on. They're a man down, remember, this Manly side at the moment with Tuvey down injured. The little kick by Walters. But Ridge tidied it up, and Williams did the tidying up on the counter-attack. But Hoff collars him. That is the last play before half-time. Jeff Tuvey in all sorts of trouble. He doesn't know whether he's at Brookvale Oval, the Sydney Football Stadium or Lang Park. He's got 10 minutes to recover and come back for the second half of this elimination semi-final from the Sydney Football Stadium, where the Broncos lead Manly by 6 points to 2. Back in a moment.
Just waiting now for the teams to come back on for the start of the second half in this match. The Broncos lead is 6 points to 2, and I think it's been a pretty formidable performance from them here.
Sure has, Bill. They've looked very good in attack, and the defence has been sound. A couple of interesting things that we'll look for in the early minutes of the second half is the recovery of one player from each side. Terry Madison copped a couple of heavy knocks in the first half, and at one stage Bob Conway was about to replace him. And then for the Manly side, of course, Jeff Tuvey, he tried to take Gene Miles front on and found out it's not an easy task if you're about half the size. And it'll be interesting to see whether Graham Lowe has to resort to using Des Hasler, who obviously is still inconvenienced by the leg injury that he incurred last week.
So no sign of the teams coming onto the field, and I might just repeat that reserve grade score while we've got a chance again. The Broncos winning that by 14 to 2. They'll play the loser of Penrith and Canberra tomorrow. And of course, that'll be our match tomorrow night, coming to you at 6 o'clock. We'll be on air at 5:30. The match starting to come your way at 6 o'clock tomorrow night.
We see quite a good crowd here today, and fortunately there has not been a lot of rain in the match, and if that should continue, obviously we'll see some entertaining football. But should the weather set in, later on in this match, the early leads are going to be very, very important.
Let's have a look at that match tomorrow, David. Penrith looked pretty good against the Broncos last week, but they're up against a pretty formidable task in the defending premiers in Canberra.
Sure are, Bill. They had all the luck in the world against Brisbane last week. They won't be that lucky, and I think Canberra will come in very fresh. Some people thinking they're going to be a little bit underdone because of a fairly soft preparation with easy wins leading into the finals last weekend off. But Canberra, a good side. They've been training very, very hard at the Australian Institute of Sport. So that game promises to be a beauty. It'll be the attack of Canberra against the ruthless defence of the Penrith Panthers.
And of course there's a bit of doubt at this stage about Ricky Stewart taking his place in the Canberra team tomorrow.
Yes, I spoke with him yesterday, Bill, late yesterday. He was going to have further acupuncture. Tubi's back on the field, as we noticed there. He is in extreme doubt, and he hasn't missed a game for the Canberra Raiders in a couple of seasons. He's desperate to play to complicate the problem he's got with that hamstring. He's also got a very severe dose of the flu.
Okay, so let's see what happens here as we start off for the second half of this match. And referee Harrigan now checking to see whether everyone's ready to roll. It'll be the Broncos to restart it. And he blows the whistle, and away they go. Big kick downfield. Back over there will be Ridge to take it. He in turn sends it outside to Iro. I wouldn't mind betting they're going to use a fair bit more of this fellow in the second half.
Yes, he's a shock weapon for sure. One thing I'm also sure, Bill, that Wayne Bennett would have emphasised would have been the penalties. Here's Shelford now, also doing some damage, but Brisbane cannot afford to concede penalties to the tune of 7-4 in this half.
So now it's Manly in possession. They're about 5 metres short of the halfway mark. Back it goes to Ridge. Ridge going to kick downfield. He evaded Michael Hancock. Off his back there to take it on his own quarter line. He works across field, comes up to Michael O'Connor, and O'Connor will take him. He'll play it now to Langer. Langer outside to Willie Kahn. Shelford comes at him. So too does Ian Roberts. So Kieran Walters to Langer. Kevin Walters. Jackson. Jackson straight ahead to take them on, but the defence is well up to the task. Cunningham leading the way. So back inside to Mark Hone. Hone to 10 metres short of halfway. Back on to James Donnelly. Had a big first half, and he got to the halfway mark before he's put down. Was looking to try and get it away, but there was no one there. This is Gene Miles with a kick downfield on the final tackle. But Ridge is back there, taps it down with his foot. He follows it across field, eventually takes it. But Kahn from one side and Langer from the other combined to put him down.
Poor kick by Gene Miles, had all the time in the world, but still put it at the feet of Ridge.
O'Connor goes one way, back the other, and eventually pulled down. So the dummy half is O'Donnell to Shelford. Shelford to 10 metres short of halfway. Tony Duncan, what's the situation at half-time down there?
Well, as we can see, Bill, no changes to either side for the second half. Jeff Tuvey, tough little customer. He is back on the field for Manly. Two areas of main concern for the Manly coach, Graham Lowe. One was the defence around the ruck, and the second was their ball control, as we see Ian Roberts put it on the deck once again. Manly in the second half will kick much earlier in the tackle count, and obviously with the intention of keeping the Broncos in their own half. From the Broncos dressing room, the man on the spot, Wally Lewis.
Yes, Billy. Well, Wayne Bennett's half-time talk was fairly predictable. He just wanted to make sure that the Broncos continued in the same way they did the first half. Make sure that they don't make mistakes, just ruck the ball up in their own territory. He mentioned to them they'd only made one error inside their own 30-metre zone, which is a remarkable statistic in any football game, especially semi-finals football. He just wants them to keep their enthusiasm high. Of course, most football matches are decided in the 40 to 60-minute period of the game, and the Broncos have always been very good finishers, so he's quite confident that if they manage to just consolidate in this next 20 minutes, they'll be pretty good things.
So that's Andrew G bringing it up to the quarter line. Dummy half is Kieran Walters. Decides to run himself on the final tackle. Now he gets it back to Langer. Langer zigzagging across field onto Donnelly. Kahn has lost it. Hit past it before he got it, and Manly will end up with possession.
Was the sixth tackle. Brisbane trying to create something, but really they're the sort of things you've got to carry on with.
To be pulled back and thrown to the ground there by Walters as he was about to play it. This is Shelford.
And that should have been a penalty. I reckon Bill Harrigan's having a very ordinary game. And looks like...
Al Johnson.
Yeah.
There's a big tackle coming in over the top is G. As Martin Bella plays it. O'Donnell sending it back to Roberts. Oh, another one. Donnelly coming pretty high on that occasion. But Roberts able to unload it. Probably about the first time he's been able to do it today. And Cunningham takes it up to just short of the halfway mark. It is the final tackle. So O'Donnell, little knock on in there. And referee Bill Harrigan did find this one.
Just shows you that all you've got to do is win on the day. All the good play of Manly last week, they almost were error-free. They've made their share of errors today, and Brisbane have a chance to capitalise.
And a knock on, no capitalising there. They were saying that it was kicking around there by Roberts.
Well, he certainly did, Bill, but he's allowed to do that, and Kieran Walters then was not watching what he was doing. Actually, Hone was pushed backwards. He's not allowed to do that.
So win by Tuvey. He sends a bad pass over there to Lyons. He picked it up. Now it's going to be lost. No, it's not. It's regathered. So it'll be Manly in possession on the halfway mark as Lydiard played it back. Taken up over there as Jones. Lyons to dummy half. No, played forward by Jones. And eventually put down in Hone's tackle. Dummy half O'Donnell to Shelford on the blind side. Jackson comes at him high. And he won't be able to unload. He'll play the ball though to O'Donnell. Then across to Bella. Bella to the quarter line. Willie Kahn over the top. He's still going, Bella. That's a good run from the big front rower. It is the final tackle now. So look for O'Donnell. Getting it across to Lyons. What'll a 5-8 do? He decides to swing it to Tuvey. Tuvey now puts in a little kick after he was told over there by Williams to get on the job and do something about that. It's going to be Walters coming away with a penalty to the Broncos.
Lydiard was offside over there.
Correct decision it was. Manly really made a mess of that. Those outside players were calling for the kick far earlier. Tuvey should never have got it. Lyons should have put the kick across immediately. Tuvey then, after receiving, more time was wasted. And Manly definitely in front of the kicker. They made a real mess of that. Manly such a regimented side. Things aren't working for them. And of course, when you're behind, that adds a bit of extra pressure. Brisbane are the ones in charge on the scoreboard at 6-2.
Tuvey, I notice in the second half, David, one bad pass, and then he didn't seem to quite know what he was about on that occasion, so he mightn't have totally recovered from that knock from Gene Miles.
Could well still be quite groggy, Bill, and I'm sure Brisbane will be looking to capitalise on that.
Tell you what, I'd need more than 10 minutes to get over running into Gene Miles. I'll tell you.
There's the man with all the problems. Graham Lowe in front of him. Des Hasler, obviously reluctant to use him.
Unloading it this time, Willie Kahn takes it and eventually put down a couple of metres short of halfway. Kieran Walters to Alan Langer. To Jackson. Cuts out Miles, gets it away to Johns, running onto it nicely, broke out of the tackle, but he was just knocked a little bit off balance over there by O'Connor. Back to Madison. Here he goes, on to Walters, outside of Kevin Walters. He's found a gap again. Langer backs up nicely, looking for support. No one at home. He'll play it. Kieran Walters from dummy half of the final tackle. So Jackson decides to put it up. It's not a baddie either. Going back there is Ridge. He takes it safely. Crouched over there in the in goal by Hoff.
Great passage of play by the Broncos. Pressure is mounting on Manly. Brisbane got ball into good position. Then the perfectly chipped kick by Peter Jackson. Hoff onside, chases through nicely. That man took it well, forced into the in goal area, and therefore a goal line dropout.
So nobody's in a hurry to take that goal line dropout either. Eventually Matthew Ridge comes around and he'll flick the ball back over there to Williams. So it'll be Darryl Williams to drop it out now. Down the centre, Alan Langer lets it go through. It was a little bit dicey for Alfie, so he let it go through to Hancock. Hancock up the centre. He's 10 metres inside Manly territory. Dummy half Walters. Back to Donnelly, who thought he saw a gap up the centre. Now he gets it back to Langer. Langer dummies. Now he goes. But he's put down. It's midway between the quarter and halfway. Here's Kieran Walters again, but it's going to be grabbed over there by Bella. So from the play the ball, back over there to Madison. To Langer. Langer working up over the quarter line, but he's pulled down. Quick play the ball. This is Walters away again. He's skirting his way through. Lost it. Tap back, picked up over there. They keep it going. This is big Paul Hoff. Hoff is going to be knocked over about 8 metres out. It is the final tackle now. Watch for it back inside. Hancock. Now he gets it away to Miles, to Walters. Walters a kick across field. It'll go touch over the dead ball line.
Bad result because once again impromptu. Brisbane getting in a good attacking position. You've got to organise that kick. You can't just pass and really without purpose, and Brisbane letting Manly off the hook.
Ian Roberts taking it up to be tackled there by Alan Langer. So the dummy half is Jones. Back on it goes to Bella. In over the top there was Jackson. Cutting it off again. They've done that well, David, not allowing that ball carrier to unload. I think Roberts has only done it once. The rest have been, I mean, Shelford's probably done it once, but the rest of the time it's been trapped up.
Yes, you need that second tackler coming in over the top to wrap things up.
This is Iro. He's put down 8 metres short of halfway. So back over there this time to Matthew Ridge. Ridge will kick out on the full, so things not starting to go Manly's way at all. The pressure's starting to tell.
Ridge complaining because he didn't get protection from his teammates, but it was a good chase.
Terry Madison was the man.
So now we wait for the scrum to pack down 10 metres inside Manly territory. In by Alan Langer, takes it out quickly across to Walters. Walters trying to get away from Lyons, but his opposite number does put him down. Jackson back to Gene Miles with strapping on his right boot. Kieran Walters away over there to Andrew G. They're keeping that roll going now. G to 25 metres out from the Manly line. Walters back over to Madison, dummies one way, gets up to the quarter line, got a no pardon up there by Bella. He'll quickly play it though. This is Walters again trying to skirt away from the dummy half. No chance on that occasion. And Roberts eventually throws him to the ground. Referee Harrigan was looking the other way when that all happened, telling Manly to get back on side. They didn't take much notice, but eventually back over here with Iro from the kick through on the final tackle. So Ridge back inside to Cunningham. Tony Durkin on the touchline. Be interested to see what sort of a crowd here today. What's the figure?
31,424, Bill. So obviously in their 3 years in the Winfield Cup, the Broncos have built up some support.
Cliff Lyons with it now. He unloads it back behind him. But it's eventually Mike O'Connor, a tackle 30 metres out from his own line. Bronco player down in back play. Mark Hone it is. Back over to Roberts. Roberts gets it back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell to Bella, then to Tuvey. Tuvey gets it outside to Michael O'Connor working across field, but Langer's in underneath. They're just short of the halfway mark now, Manly. Home to the head bin, Conway coming on as it goes back to Cliff Lyons. Lyons will kick through, he's downtown, he's going to find touch just inside the quarter line.
Good passage of play by Manly. They've been on the back foot for the last 10 minutes. There's Mark Hone leaving the field. Fresh man, Bob Conway. Brisbane will benefit by the injection of Conway just at this stage. Mark Hone, I should just therefore to Mark Hone put his body on the line. Huge tackle.
Well, Conway used in the semi-final as a replacement. He's had one run on match against Newcastle, and this is the fourth time he's been used as a substitute in this Winfield Cup season of 1990. He packs himself into the second row as Hone leaves the field. And the scrum feed, Hancock comes in from the blind wing. But he's taken immediately in the tackle right on the quarter line. Walters is a dummy half. It'll go back to Langer. A little bit of confusion inside the quarter. And that's probably caused a lot with Hone going off the field. The pack just a little disorganised at the moment. Outside their own quarter line. They're around about 32 out. First touch of the football for Conway. And he's immediately put on the ground. Oh, that's high. Final tackle. Back for Jackson. Changing the point of attack. Lobbing it over the top. It'll go straight to Matthew Ridge. And that's allowed him to attack, but Langer comes, tries to bulldog him with Chris Johns. A quick play the ball, we'll see the ball go for Lyons. Brushed away from Chris Johns, but Hancock just rode him to the ground. They're just inside their own end of the ground. Shelford, taken over the top by Kerrod Walters. Underneath was Andrew G, and a penalty. Brisbane well up inside the 5. Gene Miles was the offender.
Fifth time in the match, Brisbane caught inside the 5 metres. Penalties there favouring Manly by 8-5. Another chance for Matthew Ridge to put 2 points on.
Well, he in fact looks as though he's going to look for touch on that far side. So maybe Manly intent on putting the pressure on inside that quarter line. They trail by 6 points to 2. The Broncos have missed 6 in the second half of the tackling department. Now watch for Manly's build-up here. Set move. Cunningham came in. So did Roberts. A good break.
Well, Roberts seemed to be hurt then.
Yeah, he pulled up very lame as he tried to shrug through the tackle. He has got a problem.
I think he got a bump in the head, an accidental knee as he was going down.
There he is,
seems
bumping
to stall though, doesn't he?
Bumping through Gene Miles' tail. I think the groin has gone again.
Oh, and he copped one over the top as well from Gene Miles.
Yes, his head is sore. And also there's going to be a play on now. Manly to play the ball.
The replay of that incident has just gone on the big screen here at the ground, and that was what the roar was all about.
And the roar is for an error by Jeff Tuvey.
The trainer calls that says that Ian Roberts cannot carry on. Well, there he is at the top of the screen, the trainer calling for a stretcher. He's had some wretched luck, has Ian Roberts. He had a groin injury last year that really hampered his game, and he came back after surgery. Now he's injured it again.
We'll take a break here from the football stadium. 26 minutes remain. It's 6-2 to the Broncos. It wouldn't be good. Well, despite leaving you for a moment for that commercial break, Shane Roberts still hasn't moved. Let's watch it again in replay. And the groin seems to trouble him there, but Gene Miles also added a little bit.
Bad luck for Roberts. He was one of the key players for Manly. He'd been standing in tackles extremely well. They will miss his services, but at the same time, Dunford, a fresh player, and the game has been played at a fairly hectic pace. Fresh players are going to play an important role in the match.
So Dunford the replacement, Roberts to leave the field.
We come back to where the play broke down, and that was when Jeff Tooby knocked the ball on. Roberts being taken from the field on a stretcher. Graham Lowe has got some problems. So has Ian Roberts. You would have to think that is the end of any chances he has of making the Kangaroo Tour. He's worked extremely hard to make that comeback. He did have some problems just prior to representing Australia in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago. The groin injury was giving him some more problems. Roberts exits the scene. Scrum to pack, loose head and feed Brisbane from the Tooby knock on. And that's bad luck for Ian Roberts.
So the scrum will pack down right on the quarter line. Bill Harrigan having a chat to both sets of forwards at the moment. It's a crucial stage in this semi-final. Only 4 points separate the two sides, and I think Brisbane have come up with it. No, Manly, a penalty.
Well, Langer got the ball. He was the first man to the football. Dissension now a full penalty. No longer is it a differential. It is now a full penalty. He's got Gene Miles for answering back. They can now shoot for goal. This is an absolute red carpet ride here for Manly at this stage. Actually, what happened there, just Bill, Manly had won the scrum. The ball came out the back. Langer was like a flash onto the football. He beat Tooby to the football. Here it is. Now Langer must stay behind the forwards until the ball comes out. I think that was a fair get immediately. Now that's a differential penalty at that stage.
See, Gino comes in and takes the ball now, you see. That's what he's marching for on that one.
Yeah.
Tony Durkin on the sideline with a report on Ian Roberts.
Well, the Manly camp non-committal, David, at this stage on Ian Roberts. Certainly the injury is to his leg. There is some concern about the groin area, but obviously with so much the problems that he's had, Ian Roberts, in recent years with that groin, obviously not prepared to commit themselves at this stage.
Now Ridge with the ball placed 10 metres out. It's there, 6-4 to the Broncos, and we've got 25 and a half minutes of play remaining at the stadium. Good one, Wally. Shane. So play back on the quarter line. Only 2 points separate the sides. Brisbane leading by 6-4. It's still anyone's semi-final. I mentioned at the beginning of the telecast the end of the road for the loser today in 1990. And the winner, of course, going through to the preliminary final next weekend here at the stadium against the loser of tomorrow's major semi-final, Canberra v Penrith.
Good little passage there by the two young fellows. Willie Kahn brought Hoff on the outside, got into space.
Now Kahn, wrapped up by Bella and also by Shelford. Now Gene Miles.
brings the boo because the crowd have seen on replay that not only did Ian Roberts go down from groin strain, but also a swinging arm from Gene Miles.
Now Walters moving it back for Langer. Langer in turn for Walters. There's the error. It's been knocked forward though by Manly.
Well, another amazing decision here by Bill Harrigan. I thought Kevin Walters knocked that ball back. It should have been retained by Brisbane and 6 to go.
But Manly have got the loose head and feed. 10 metres inside their own territory. O'Connor attacks down the blind side. Mark Hone about to come onto the field for Brisbane. And that will mean Conway comes off again. Iro to play the ball. Well, Honey's face is knocked around a fair bit. Conway goes low. Now O'Donnell giving it away for Dunford. Dunford, of course, started at lock forward, then played in the second row, then went to hooker. One of the 4 hookers used by Manly Warringah, but this O'Donnell has done a marvellous job in the last few games.
Good kick that from Matthew Ridge. Pushed Brisbane back on the back foot, and really Brisbane, even in possession, don't seem to have as much drive as what they had before. There's the change being made. Mark Hone is on. Back from the headbin. Bobby Conway off.
So the scrum to go down 10 metres out from the Brisbane goal line. They lead by 6 points to 4. They led at one stage by 6 to 0. Walters is the dummy half. It's Kevin Walters away for Langer. And Miles, every time he touches the football, they remember that incident. Now Donnelly, good solid run upfield.
An outstanding game, Donnelly.
He's risen to the occasion as Greg Dowling's replacement. And Walters, 32 out from his own goal line. Kerrod Walters away for Mark Hone. Came to Tooby, who went low. It's on the final tackle for the Broncos. It'll go away for Langer. His kick downfield. Ridge showing good pace to get across. He'll get it inside his own quarter line. Now he's got Johns and Walters to contend with. And he's sandwiched by both of them. And that gives us a chance to go touchline for Tony Durkin.
Just those ironic cheers from when Gene Miles gets the ball, David. Certainly brings a smile to the face of Wally Lewis sitting beside me. He thought he was the only Bronco captain that was booed in the Sydney Football Stadium.
Yeah, he's come in for his share as well. Now, Manly set to work it out from their own quarter line through Jones. It'll be from Williams to Shelford, the 2 Kiwis combining. And over the top went G. It's on the final tackle for the Sea Eagles. 21.5 minutes remain at the stadium. The kick by Lyons is rolling end on, and that's a superb kick by the Manly 5'8".
The game is very delicately poised at the moment. Both sides not taking any chances inside their own territory, trying to get the good kick away. Manly noticeably kicking for touch, more so than what Brisbane are.
Well, in the event of this match finishing in a tie, it will go 10 minutes each way. And if that deadlock isn't broken, we're off to the Parramatta Stadium on Tuesday night. I think it's a scenario, David, isn't it?
I think you're right, Fordo. That's a long way off. I think there's a chance here now for both sides really to get the upper hand. Possession, as I said, is very important. Neither side willing to take a chance. I think as soon as we see some good attacking ball, we're going to see the game open up again.
Well, Peter Jackson's in a bit of trouble. He's copped a whack to the head. And away goes Walters out of dummy half. He did it so effectively to set up a try in the first half. It goes to Langer. Now Brisbane move it across field. It goes to Walters. Walters to Johns, who straightens. Back on the loop is Walters again. But Michael O'Connor is there to get him on the final tackle. A confusion again. The kicking game of Brisbane has left a lot to be desired. Straight down the throat of Matthew Ridge.
Ridge starts to run it across field. Coming at him is Michael Hancock. He'll put him down. He's only a couple of metres in from touch over there, but he's pretty safe. So from the play the ball, they send it back over in centre field this time. And trying to find a way through there is Michael O'Connor. So the Broncos lead by 6 points to 4. 2 the difference to Tooby. Tooby trying to get around the tackle. He got it to Lyons, knocked out of his hands. Can't be handled back here by Williams. He eventually regathers. Plays it just inside the quarter.
Not 6 to go. Harrigan's rule there that the arms were the only thing touched, not the ball.
That's a nice tackle to put down Lydiard. Still just about on that quarter line. O'Donnell from dummy half back to Ridge. Donnelly charged at him over there as he put the kick downfield. It's another good kick. He'll have Hoff on the back foot running down, but he gets it and decides to run it out from there. He's up over the quarter line. The big legs start to move. Yes, he gets away from Michael O'Connor, gets away from the next one. Down the touchline. Stay in field's the story, and that's exactly what he did, but a great run there by Hoff. So Langer, back over to Michael Hancock. Hancock bustling out of a couple of tackles and almost through on that occasion. A quick play the ball. Kieran Walters away from dummy half to Alan Langer. Langer dodging his way through. It's going to be lost over there, regathered, but the referee to play it on.
Brisbane starting to get on the front foot, and all it takes is a good break by Paul Hoff. Looks like Bob Conway is going to come back on. Here's Tony Durkin.
Yeah, Mark Hone certainly has had it, Mark Hone. He's absolutely put his body on the line today for the Broncos. He looks like he's been through World War III. Finally, Hone has retired. Bob Conway back on.
So now it's out to Lyons. Lyons waiting for something to happen. Eventually gets it outside to Williams. Williams making the break. Dived up by Khan from behind. Pulls him down just short of the quarter line. Great piece of work there by Willie Khan. Tooby up the blind side. Tooby's on his way. He's coming up to the quarter line. Hoff is there. Hoff, it's going to be the tackle of Khan. Will put him down and got him into touch. That was the idea.
Two great tackles from Willie Khan, David. He chased on both occasions.
Yes, it really takes youth and enthusiasm. Tooby brilliant out of the dummy half position. Spotted the gap. Have a look at this. Willie Khan mows him down. Paul Hoff there, the momentum, pushes him into touch. Iro had been in support.
So waiting for the scrum to go down. 10 metres out from the Broncos line. Alan Langer to feed. The Broncos lead by 6-4. Langer getting it across over there this time to Walters. Well wrapped up though by Cliff Lyons. Madison to dummy half. He gets it outside then. On that occasion it was Conway taking it up to Miles. Miles put down by Williams. They still haven't made the quarterway. Away from dummy half, Walters trying to find a way through. Grabbed by Shelford, reefed back to the quarter line.
Darryl Williams down injured as well, Bill.
He sure is. Langer getting it across over there to Johns. Johns will be pulled down. It is the final tackle. Who's going to be the kicker this time? Have a guess. Go on, David.
I would have said Paul Hoff, Bill.
Well, back it goes.
Thank goodness for that.
I don't think he was intended to get it. Down it goes over there this time to Matthew Ridge. Ridge is going to take his time. What's he going to do? Decides to run it now. There he does, but a nice tackle by Langer will put him down a couple of metres short of halfway. Quick play the ball. And Dunford gets it across to Tooby. Tooby back inside, looking for Lyons. Lyons lurking across field, got away from Walters. Now he gets his pass to Shelford. Shelford in turn put down a couple of metres short of the halfway. There's a Manly player down injured. It is Tooby again. Back it comes across to Lydiard. Lydiard, it's going to be a penalty.
Well, it wouldn't be no surprise, I don't think, for inside the 5. Once again, Bill Harrigan finding it necessary to call over Gene Miles. Here's Tony Durkin.
Well, the player, no doubt in my mind, that will be cautioned here is big Bob Conway. He certainly didn't miss Jeff Tuvey. It was late. That's right, Bill Harrigan said. The fellow with the headband being reported now by the touch judge.
So the touch judge making a report. Gene Miles there. Referee Harrigan talking to the captain of the Broncos side. Now Conway arriving on the scene. Tuvey's back onto his feet.
Des Hasler warming up. Obviously not 100% fit, or otherwise he would have been used. Here's the report now, the official report from the touch judge. Tuvey back on his feet. The penalty has been given for, once again, Brisbane inside the 5 metres. I tell you what, it makes it very, very difficult. The penalty's 11-5. Both sides have been offside. Manly do not seem to have copped the same treatment.
So now the Sea Eagles take the tap just inside the quarter line. On it goes to Bella. Bella charging his way up. Not a bad run either. He'll get up to play it now. O'Donnell is the dummy half. He'll send it back to Shelford, taking it up. Shelford in turn out of the first tackle, that of Conway. Stands up there. Will play it to O'Donnell. Broncos leading by 6-4. This is Lyons. Lyons is crunched over the top by Walters. Langer into it also. Dummy half up there this time will be O'Donnell again. He turns it back to Lyons. Lyons outside to Iro, but Iro's wrapped up, losing the ball, and the Hoff will come away with it for the Broncos.
Great defence by Brisbane. Manly tried one of their set plays with O'Donnell stepping out of the dummy half position. Iro ultimately flashing down the brine, tried to flick the ball out the back door. Brisbane must not make mistakes in their own territory. Hasler still waiting his time.
Gene Miles getting up to play it. They're only about 8 metres out from their own line, the Broncos. This is Madison. They're using up plenty of tackles down there.
Manly are gone for the extra gear. Brisbane need to do the same.
Back it comes this time to Donnelly, who decides to take it up, but doesn't get far. He's crunched to the ground by Shelford. It'll be the final tackle.
They're offside, Manly.
And the Broncos will need a big kick from here. There it is. It's not a big one. It carries high, but it doesn't go too far. Ridge will come up with it. So now they're on the attack again. He's going to be put down about 25 metres out from the Broncos line. From the play the ball, it's stowed through. The tackle count to restart. Ridge with it, grabbed up there. Or rather, Iro grabbed up there by Walters.
Miles has just cuffed Ridge in the back play.
From the play the ball, back to Dunford. Dunford in turn is wrapped up, can't get the pass away. 13 and a half minutes remaining in the match. The Broncos with a 2-point advantage at this stage. They've lost the ball, Manly. Lost the ball, and so we'll have a scrum.
Knocked forward both way, or Manly regained. Knocked forward by Manly. This was at a very important stage in the match. Couldn't be handled there by Owen Cunningham. Brisbane couldn't recover.
Tony Durkin once again.
Well, a very important, maybe a very important change about to be made in the Broncos lineup. Big Brett Plowman, who absolutely created havoc here in reserve grade today, is warming up on the sideline.
Penalty coming to the Broncos.
Manly pushing off the mark. They obviously went for the big push there. Differential penalty to Brisbane, and that's a big relief for the Broncos, who've been under enormous pressure. It's important now that Brisbane don't put this game on hold. There's still 13 minutes. They should be looking to add further points. And this is a very good opportunity, being a very high standard second half. 6-4 the drop ball.
Des Hasler's also lining up down on the touchline. Wally Lewis, what do you think of that change to the Broncos lineup?
I think it's a very good idea, Wayne Bennett, electing to put Brett Plowman into it. With the game so close as we've got at the moment, Bill, the important thing is that the teams, both teams, try and play it as tight as possible. Probably the team that's in front has to play it a lot tighter than the team trailing, obviously. But the Broncos, now with a couple of forwards really badly tiring. We've just seen Mark Hone go to the bin, and obviously skipper Gene Miles and the rest of the forwards are starting to feel a little bit weary. If they get this big fella Brett Plowman into the play, if he plays half as well as he did in reserve grade with some of those damaging runs, it'll be a real bonus for them.
That's James Donnelly taking it up. He's had a good match here today. He's grabbed the opportunity with both hands. So the final tackle, the Broncos working up towards the Manly quarter line. Walters with it. He'll send it back to Alan Langer. Langer's going to put it up. They're coming out after it. He's run them all onside. The ball's going to be taken by Hoff. He just couldn't get the pass away. Sent it back inside, but that'll be the changeover.
Called the changeover. Called Hoff actually tackled. Langer did well to put everyone onside after Hoff was initially called offside by Bill Harrigan. Beautiful take. All he wanted to do now is try and get this ball away. As soon as it touches the ground, the tackle's effective. Changeover. Manly, they're still under pressure.
They sure are. They're only about 10 metres out from their own line. As Shelford takes it up, he's no chance of getting the pass away. They smother him up once again. Des Hasler onto the field. Who's he taking the place of, Tony?
About to come on. He will replace the hooker in the Manly side, David O'Donnell. Matt Dunford will go to hook for the Sea Eagles.
So there's O'Donnell probably touching it for the last time. Lyons puts a little kick through. Watch Iro coming out after it. But it's going to be beaten to the ball up there by Lilliard on that occasion. They were well and truly out after it. Lyons with it again. Turning it around over there to Jones. Jones put down a penalty coming up to Manly.
Inside the 5 metres. Once again, Bill Harrigan calling out. Now, he could actually put Johns in the bin here, and it will be a tough, tough decision. He has. He's put him in the bin for 5 minutes. Brisbane have been penalised again. Miles has been walked again. The frustration is definitely there, and I'm not surprised. The penalties have just flooded for offside over and over again.
Second time in 2 weeks that Chris Johns has been sent to the bin, though, David.
Yes, well, he was sent to the bin for continually standing offside. Manly have not been without fault.
So now it's going to be Matthew Ridge to kick for the goal, looking for the equaliser.
He's kicked 2 from 2 so far, and Bill, he's had an outstanding kicking record here at the Sydney Football Stadium. In fact, an outstanding year with the boot. Remembering that he only joined the Sea Eagles in round 10 of the Premiership, he's so far scored 94 points, and he's now kicked 43 from 50 attempts.
Well, that makes the chances of this one look pretty good, doesn't it?
Might be due for a miss.
Kelvin Giles being told to move off the field there. He's in front of the kicker by referee Harrigan. He's telling the trainer for Manly to get out of the road also. Now we wait for Matthew Ridge. Very important kick here with just under 10, matter of fact, 9.5 minutes remaining in the match. 6 points to 4, the Broncos lead. Matthew Ridge for the equaliser. standing, concentrating. Now he comes in. Here's the kick. He's missed it. It's away the left-hand side of the uprights. So the score remains Broncos lead by 6-4.
Back at the Sydney Football Stadium, Manly on the attack inside the Brisbane Broncos half. And the replacement player, Des Hasler, is the dummy half. He'll move it to Lyons, continually probing for the opening. So too is Tooby. 32 out, they've lost the football. It's a Brisbane ball. And it's amazing, David, that even though the penalty count is against him, the little bounce of the ball has favoured Brisbane somewhat today in contrast to last week.
Well, I know it's bounce of the ball, Fordo, the fact that they put a lot of pressure on. Let's see if Bill Harrigan is just as stringent in the offside play as we see Brisbane try to ruck the ball out. But Des Hasler, for mine, is not fit out there, and Graham Lowe has taken a huge gamble in having Hasler out there.
Now Madison stepping. This fellow's played in every game against the Manly Warringah side since they came into the league in 1988, the Broncos. There's the kick by Jackson. That will take play inside the attacking quarter. Loose head and feed to the Sea Eagles, but Brisbane putting pressure on.
The risk of sounding bias, Fordo. Bill Harrigan there was actually watching and pointing to Brisbane offside in attack before looking at Manly's defensive offside.
So Tooby to feed the scrum inside the quarter. Lyons stands very wide. It'll go across to Williams. And there's that sweeping defence of Brisbane. Moving the players across field. It'll go to O'Connor. A brilliant stepper, this fellow. He got away from one. He's got Hancock to contend with. Stood him up easily. O'Connor's still going. Tremendous pace, but to his credit, back came Hancock.
Brilliant run, O'Connor.
We've got an injured player in back play for Brisbane.
Brisbane have got 12 men already, so they're down to 11 in the defensive line.
James Donnelly, I think, is the man down. He's just fallen to his feet. Off his feet and down on the ground again.
Well, Brisbane need the ball with 11 defenders.
Wally Lewis shouting a bit of advice to his side. Well, what would you be saying there?
Well, what I'm trying to yell at the moment, mate, is they get a cover defender. They've got no one covering in behind, and this is where Manly have had a bit of an advantage all day whenever we've made a break.
Well, here they go. The ball's loose on the ground. It's been knocked forward by Manly Warringah. It's a Brisbane Broncos ball. We've got 6.5 minutes of play remaining. Hoff takes it outside the quarter.
James Donnelly's got no idea where he is over there.
Walters out of dummy half. Back to Wally Lewis on the touchline.
Yes, mate, I was about to say that we don't have anybody in the cover defending role. If our front line is split, or if Lyons decides to put a little chip kick over, we're in all sorts of trouble. Manly play at least one player in cover defence all the time. I'd have to say, I agree with you guys before, if I was the Brisbane blokes at the moment, I'd be running straight at Des Hasler. He's been put on by Graham Lowe. He hardly can walk out there, let alone run. He's got an obvious limp, and he seems to be a real threat to the Manly defence at the moment.
Well, Chris Johns coming back on as that great probing kick goes inside the quarter. But the important thing is, as we watch the kick and replay, David, no points scored against Brisbane while they're a man down.
Hung on magnificently, Brisbane have. They'll still have to do it for another 5.5 minutes. There's a lot of football left here yet. Manly are dangerous when they're in possession.
Well, Brisbane hit the lead in the 13th minute of the first half. They led by 4-0, increased that in the 23rd. Ridge brought it back with a penalty with 30 gone in the first half. Here's a chance. O'Connor stepping back infield. The defence is there. It's Kevin Walters. And then 15 into the second half, Matthew Ridge added 2 further points on the board. There's been no points scored since. And we've got less than 5 remaining. And as I mentioned, it's sudden death this semi-final. Currently, Brisbane hold a 2-point advantage for the right to live another day next Saturday at the Sydney Football Stadium. Manly desperate in their quest for their first premiership since 1987. It goes away this time for Lydiard. And Lydiard takes play inside the quarter. A quick play the ball. Lyons, very dangerous. Unloaded the pass, gave it away. And it's been taken by Donnelly, taken high in the tackle and hasn't moved. It's Terry Madison, in fact.
Bill Harrigan wanting to restart play very, very quickly, reefing it out of the hands of Terry Madison.
Now Walters getting it away for Gene Miles. It goes back for Walters. Quick ball for Langer. No one's going forward. Langer does. He stumbled. Ran away from the support. Now he's found it again. He can't unload the football. Walters, a dummy half.
4 minutes to go.
Kevin Walters. Now Kerrod Walters out of dummy half, turning it back infield. Chris Johns got the pass away. Walters 10 metres out. Kerrod Walters moves it wide. Donnelly. This is the final tackle. Kerrod Walters sizing it up, giving it away. Jackson. It's not a good kick. It's been taken by Manly Warringah. And they come up with the football 9 metres out from their own goal line. Tuvey, he knows it's desperate stuff now. They're down in their own territory. They'll want to move it upfield as quickly as possible. And Iro grabbed a valuable 10. Dunford is the dummy half. They move it to Shelford on the blind side into the final 3. And Brisbane just 3 minutes away from an historic place in the Premiership final. It goes to Lyons. Manly won't lie down. Hasler got the pass beautifully away for Lydiard. Lyons a dummy half. Final tackle. He decides to run the football. Back for Tuvey. A chance for Manly. Good support play. Cunningham. That should be a turnover.
It is. Only a rebound off Brisbane. A very handy decision, that one, for Brisbane. They did not play at the ball. It was just kicked very heavily by Michael O'Connor. Brisbane hung on.
And they've got 2 minutes to hang on to the 2-point lead. 26 weary footballers as the skipper Gene Miles leads the chase. Wayne Bennett knows he's only a few minutes away from leading the side and the charge into the Premiership final. Out of dummy half goes Kerrod Walters. Less than 2 remain at the stadium. Harrigan calling Manly back on side. It goes to Terry Madison. It's away for Jackson. A beautiful ball. Jackson's the hero. He's put them in the final.
Jackson scored it. Terry Madison, some great work. Stacks on the mill back in midfield. There's 3 or 4 players. Brisbane have done it against adversity. Everything has gone with Manly to a large extent today. Brisbane have hung on valiantly. Terry Madison, what a revelation for Maddo. Looks back on the inside. Jackson, often maligned this year, but he wasn't going to let this try go. Brushes out of tackles, forces his way. Brisbane have sealed the match.
Terry Madison's charging probes. They've been the ones that he's got the angles on, successful angles for the last couple of weeks. Peter Jackson should have been out in the centres, but Action wanting to be in the middle to be involved in the work. Certainly got a big palm off there to make sure he got those extra 5 or 6 metres that were necessary.
Well, I'm just so happy for one young fellow, Terry Madison. Elated for this fellow, as David said, much maligned. He finished off so strongly, but Terry Madison has never let this Brisbane side down when he's been called on in season 1990. I think it was fitting he laid the final pass on for Jacko to put them into the final.
And here it is, Terry Madison with a chance to add another 2 points. But at this stage, 10-4, it's shut the gate for Brisbane. Madison suits Brisbane's style, there's no doubt about that. They like to keep the ball alive. Good play from Brisbane too to run close to the ruck there. Players are tired, very tired. The gaps are there. Graham Lowe, very, very disappointed man.
Yes, he's took over a troubled side. They looked so great last week. To their credit, Brisbane have regrouped and they've won their way through to their first ever final. And Terry Madison with a chance to put the icing on the cake. Up go the flags. The Broncos are short of a spot in the final. They lead by 12 points to 4. There's the siren.
Kerrod Walters.
Tremendous elation in this Brisbane camp. And after being down by Penrith last week, they have regrouped. They have done it well. They were against the odds here today, and they have won a superb semi-final. Chris Johns is there. Peter Jackson scored the match winner. For Graham Lowe, disappointment. For Wayne Bennett, maybe elation. And through to the final for 1990. They will meet the loser of tomorrow's major semi-final between
bit of drama.
Canberra and Penrith. And Gene Miles, I wonder whether or not he's going to lay an official complaint against Bill Harrigan.
Well, it's either that photo or Bill Harrigan's going to put one on Gene Miles. Whether the report was now taken about the swinging arm incident, who's to know? But Brisbane have been valiant in victory.
Final score here at the Sydney Football Stadium, 12 points to 4 to the Broncos.